Okay, welcome back. We are going to continue with our adventure, really, of solving equations. All right, so let's do it. Rules aren't going to change at all today. They're going to stay the same. All right, our rules, we got to do the opposite on both sides. We got to do the opposite, and we've got to do it on both sides. All right, and remember, basically, we can just think about this. Both of those two rules, we can cram into one and just say cross the line, change the sign. So let's go ahead and do this. Now, this first problem, we see something new. We've still got a perfectly balanced equation, the same value, the same thing on both sides of this. But the problem is, or what's new is, we have an x on both sides of this equal sign. All right, so here's what we're going to have to do first. We're going to have to take the x's and put them together on the same side. And technically, it doesn't matter which side you go to, but here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to give you a phrase that'll always work. Letters left, numbers right. Okay, there may be a quicker way to do it, but this way is going to work. And I like things that are easy. Letters left, numbers right. So here's what we've got to do. We have to take the letters left, and I see there's an 8x. So I have to take that over to the left. So when I bring it over, I'm taking it across the line. This is a positive 8x. So when I bring it across the line, it's going to become a negative 8x. All right? What we're really doing is we're really subtracting the 8x from both sides. And when we do that, it cancels out. Okay? But it's really easy to just think letters left, numbers right, cross the line, change the sign. All right? Really easy to do that. So let's see what we have now that I've moved that. 3x minus 8x is going to be negative 5x minus 4 equals 6. Okay? Well, how do I solve this now? This is just right where we've been the last couple days. Take the negative 4, add it over to the other side, cross the line, change the sign. Negative 5x equals 10. And one last step. Careful here. How do I move that negative 5 over? Be very, 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 very careful. It's very easy to say, cross the line, make it a positive, right? The opposite of negative 5 is positive 5. Well, that's technically true, but we're not adding or subtracting that 5 here. We are multiplying. That's negative 5 times x. So what's the opposite of negative 5 times x? We need to divide by negative 5. We need to change the multiply to a divide. So take the negative 5 and divide it to the other side. And we're just going to get x equals, that's all we've got on that side, 10 divided by negative 5 is going to be negative 2. All right? Let's look at the next one. All right, no sweat on this one either. The 19x, well, we got to get that over to the left side. So cross the line, change the sign. This is a positive 19x. So let's bring it over and make it a negative 19x. And notice how, please, please, please notice how I'm putting my x's together. I'm combining my like terms. So I wrote that minus 19x right under the 5x, or the negative 5x, because the x's have to go together. All right, so what's this going to be? So we've got a 7, negative 5x minus 19x. That's going to be a negative 24x is equal to 49. All right? Now, this isn't bad. We need to move the 7 next. So let's take the 7, cross the line. This is a positive 7. So cross the line and change the sign to a negative 7. Subtract that positive 7 over, and I've got negative 24x equals 42. Next step. Negative 24 times x. How am I going to get rid of that? What's the opposite of times? What's the opposite of times? We're going to have to divide. Divide that negative 24 to the other side. Cross the line, change the sign. So we moved it over, and we're simply going to have x equals negative 42 over 24. Now, we always should reduce a fraction. Anytime we could reduce a fraction, so let's see. I think I can divide both of these by 2. 42 divided by 2 is 21, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. I can keep going on this, can't I? I can divide both those by 3. So negative 7/4 is our final answer. Maybe you saw that right away. I could divide them both by 6, couldn't I have? Either way, we're getting to the same spot. All right. Another fraction one. I love these because we can decimate those fractions anytime there's an equal sign. So let's do that. Let's destroy those fractions. So what is the number that I can multiply both sides by? Well, I have to be able to divide it by 5 and by 3, and we've already got that 3. So give me a number I can divide by 5 and 3. 15. 15. I'm going to multiply both sides of this by 15. So remember, when you multiply an integer by a fraction, divide by the bottom and then take that answer times the top. Divide by the bottom, multiply by the top. So 15 divided by 5 is 3, times 1 is just going to be 3. So this is going to be a 3x. 15 divided by 3 is 5 times 2. 5 times 2 is 10. So we've got 3x minus 10. Do the same thing on this side. 15 divided by 3 is 5 times 1 is 5. So this is going to be a 5x. And then 15 times 3, it's just a normal number, just 15 times 3, is going to be 45. So this is what we've got. All right, now, letters left, numbers right, cross the line, change the sign. So take the 5x, bring it over. It's a positive 5x, so we're going to subtract it over. So this is going to be a negative 2x minus 10 is equal to 45. Let's just add that 10 over. Plus 10. Negative 2x equals 55. And then negative 2 times x. So how do I get rid of that negative 2? I have to divide it over, right? I'm not going to add it over. It's not going to be a plus 2. That's a times, so the opposite of times is divide. So divide the negative 2 over, and that's going to be our answer. 55 divided by negative 2 isn't going to reduce. I'll write it out here just so it's a little bit easier to see. Negative 55 over 2. That's our answer. All right, let's look at the next one. I'm gonna erase this just a little bit so that we can see a little bit clearer. All right, so I see on the left side, I'm going to have to distribute this. 3 times 2x is going to be 6x. 3 times negative 5, it's going to be negative 15. Equals 6x minus 15. All right, so letters left, numbers right. Cross the line, change the sign. Let's bring this 6x over here. It's a positive 6x, so now it's going to be a negative 6x. And on the right side, it's just going to be gone. So what's this going to be? 6x minus 6x, that's 6 minus 6 is 0, so it just got an x. Minus 15 equals negative 15. Something doesn't look right. Did you catch it? Did you see what I did wrong? Don't make this mistake. Don't make this mistake. Looking down at this x minus 15, what's the number in front of x? If there's no number in front of the variable, it's always a 1, right? But does that match what we said? No, we said earlier, just a second ago, 6 minus 6 is 0, not 1. So I can't write an x down here because an x means a 1x, and it's not a 1x, it's a 0x. Two ways we can think about this. We could think about this as 0x. That's fine, but I also know this. What's 0 times anything? 0. 0 times anything is 0, so I could just write a 0. I could even just write nothing at all there. Let's keep a 0 there for now, just to kind of hold that place. All right, let's get the 15 to the other side. So let's take this negative 15 over, cross the line, change the sign to a plus 15. So on the left, I've got 0. On the right, negative 15 plus 15, also 0. Okay, so what does this mean when I have 0 equals 0? Well, here's what I know. 0 is always equal to 0, right? Always equal to 0. So when is x true? Well, x is always going to be true no matter what number we put in it. So a couple different ways to say it. Either we could say all real numbers is a solution no matter what you put in for x. Back in here in this original equation, no matter what you put in there, it's always going to stay balanced. So all real numbers, or we could say infinitely many solutions. They basically mean the same thing. Either way, that's fine. Whenever we get 0 equals 0, that's what we are going to have. And you know what? That is the end of our lesson for today. Good luck.